Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh Shemiel Shai, Bashem Makakadash. Double honors, as always, to the apostles and elders of Great Muslim who rule well and lead the flock by example. Shalom to them, and shalom to the elect, spread around the four corners, laboring in this truth, and abiding in the faith of Yahweh Shemiel Shai. Okay, I salute you. And today's lesson, man, I'm gonna go into this scripture here. I was looking into this particular scripture, Revelation, the 13th chapter and the 11th verse. And just from one scripture, you can go into a hell of a lot of information, a lot of history. And, I was looking into what the scripture means. And Lord willing, I'm going to go into it a little bit today in this lesson, and Lord willing, it's edifying. Okay, without further ado, this is Revelation chapter 13. Verse 11, it says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." Okay, and when you look at this other beast that came up, it's EU and NATO. Okay, and EU and NATO's system, this beast was based on the fourth beast, the old beast, which is the Roman Empire. Okay, because this empire right now, this rulership of Esau is nothing short of just the Edomites coming back into rulership and establishing the continuation of the Roman Empire in these modern times, so-called modern times. Okay, so it says, "And I beheld another beast coming up of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." And this is how we know that it's talking about the beast that's being established now, as opposed to the ancient pagan Roman Empire, because it says, "And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast," which is the Roman Empire, "whose deadly wound was healed." Why was it healed? Because that's what happened in the Renaissance period. Okay, that's what the whole Renaissance was about, which the word Renaissance means rebirth. It was the rebirth and re-emergence of the Edomites coming back into power and taking down Israelites out of power, which we were ruling in the Middle Ages. Okay, when you look at the history, why do you think that they called it the Holy Roman Empire? Why do you think holy? The Byzantium Empire. Okay, Jake was in rulership. Okay, and we had rulership in different places in Europe, but what ended up happening is we started to get taken out of power by the Edomites. Okay, they crept up into, the Lord raised them up, and they pretty much crept up into power, and that's why you had the last few male kings of the that were actually had any power, because, for example, in England you had like an absolute monarchy. And eventually you start to have, the people coming against it and causing and going to the parliamentary systems, which the parliament was really, meant to be, in a sense, the King's Council. But now more so, it's just different parties and lobbyists that are ultimately pushing forth the agenda of the true kings, of the earth right now, which are the Edomite elites, the international banking families, like, for example, the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, right? Now, and their agenda is ultimately to chip the people. And I'm going to read into that in this lesson. Okay, but let's go back to verse 11. It says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." Okay, a lamb is like a humble, docile creature. He says he had two horns like a lamb. Now, when you look at the party system, the ancient Roman party system, you had what? The patricians and the plebeians, right? Now, the plebeians was your average everyday, artisans, worksmen, whatever, herdsmen, soldiers, okay? And the patricians were the aristocrats, the higher echelons of society, the priesthood, so on and so forth, okay? And over time, through different revolts in history, okay, and different struggles, eventually they had a system where the plebeians and patricians would disagree and agree on different things. But before that, the plebs didn't have much power. Okay. Now in America, in the modern day system, you had what? You had you had federalism with Adam Smith. Okay, and I believe it was Republicans. Okay, um, and pretty much, in fact, let me just double check that while I'm just here. I'll just quickly check that. So, so federalism and was it republicanism? Right. So they became the Republicans, and you had the Democrats. Yep, the Federalist Party that became the Republicans. My mistake. You know, you got to search things out. You know, we check things out, but then sometimes we got to go over it because of our memory. Okay, we're in this flesh. But pretty much, man. Yeah, it was the Federalist Party, and you had which went on to become the Republicans and the Democrats. Now today, what do you have? The modern day Democrats and the modern day Republics. It's a two-party system, and both of these horns, they speak as a lamb. However, what really eventually happens? Jake goes and casts their vote. Okay, he says, "Well, I'm gonna vote for Obama. Oh, I'm gonna vote for Trump. Well, I'm gonna vote." You know, whether he votes Democrats or Republic, what ends up happening? The same draconian measures and laws are being pushed. Okay, and the agenda of this devil, of this so-called white man, is being pushed upon the people. That's why in Deuteronomy, the 17th chapter and the 15th verse, okay, it tells us pretty much to not appoint someone over us, a king, someone in a position of rulership, okay, that is not of our nation. Okay, Deuteronomy, but you can say Obama, he's a Hamite. This is Deuteronomy 17 and 15. It says, "Thou shalt in any wise set him king in any wise." And what did Obama do for Jake? Nothing. It says, "Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy power shall choose," which that's important. That's key. Okay. "One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother." So when you go to vote for these Edomite devils, okay, these Hamites or whatever, whichever, you know, you are the president, okay, president-elect, when you're doing that, what you're doing is you're putting another nation over you, okay? So which is why we don't vote, okay? And why don't we vote? We don't vote because this law, okay, which makes it clear, but also we want to keep the law, but also because we have the understanding of the law, we have the understanding that it's not going to change anything. The change is not going to come through voting for one of these political parties, because ultimately they're pushing forth the same agenda, okay? Which is more draconian measures, more draconian rules, so that they can eventually push, when I keep reading, so they can push their agenda. And we're going to read it, okay? So whether you, and over here in the UK, you know, you had, going back to the Roundheads and the Loyalists. Okay, then you had what the Whigs, the Whig Party, and the Conservatives. See, the Whigs and the Conservatives, they merged together. You had new parties emerging, and today the main warring parties are the you know, you got Labour and Conservative, which Liberal Democrats are trying to get up in there. You know, more so in America, do you have a very prevalent and strong two-party system, and that is another point to prove that that's wrong. Okay. All over again, man. America. Okay. America is known as many different spiritual titles, man. It's also known as Babylon the Great in the scriptures. It's also known as Arsareth. It's known as the whore. It's known as the harlot. Okay. And different examples. Oh, spiritually Edom and Sodom. You know? That's why the Spirit's got to be dealing with you, and you got to be taught the correct way by our apostles and elders on these breakdowns, man. Now it says, And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So yeah, that's going back to the two-party system of Rome, okay, of that beast, and ain't nothing changed today. But ultimately, whether you go to vote for the Democrats or the Republicans, ultimately what gets pushed, the agenda of the elites, okay, the rulers, and draconian law goes forth, okay, which draconian means severe law. Why does it need to be severe? Because they have an agenda to fulfill, right? And they're the devil. Now, I read verse 12 where the deadly wound was healed, the Renaissance. Now let's keep reading. Verse 13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And that's what he did by dropping the bombs, okay? You know, with the through the aircraft, okay, carriers, at the aircrafts, okay. He says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell in the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. Okay, so ain't nothing new under the sun. Okay, a lot of the things that that are celebrated in Rome are celebrated today. Okay, it's just it's a similar system coming back. Just like in Rome, you had the Senate system. You got the Senate system over there in America. Okay. Now it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. The image of the beast is talking about these, pretty much the way of Esau society. The its laws, its philosophies, all of that. Okay. So if you follow after the image of the beast, if you follow after the way of the beast, okay, what's going to happen is, if you worship the image of the beast, rather than worshipping Yahweh Shai Shai, what's going to end up happening is you're going to take that mark. You're going to take the chip, the microchip implant, and you're going to be destroyed for that. Okay? And if you're an Israelite, okay, who's not woken up to the whole political system being a sham, okay, and they're still voting, then chances are that you're going to get destroyed. You're gone. Okay? You're still in the world in that sense. You haven't woke up to this truth. Right? Or you've scoffed at it. He says, he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So ultimately, whatever is pushed out, you got that the draconian, those severe laws, you have to abide by them. Okay? Whether you like it or not, otherwise you're going to be killed. He says, and he causeth all, both small and great. So this is the agenda. This is what, whoever you vote for, whether it's Democrats or Republicans, whatever, this is what they're looking to push. This is what they're pushing everything towards. This is why they're passing those laws. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So that's the microchip implant, man. Okay, and it's round the corner. Okay, it ain't long, everything that's happening right now in society, if you're watching with a spiritual eye, is pushing towards that mark. Okay, that microchip implant, man. Okay, and that is what is being pushed, no matter who you vote for, or what, who you think's in control. Because the true people that are in control are the elites, the kings of the earth right now that have been set up, the basis of men that have been set up in power. Okay, and they're pushing the agenda of the mark of the beast. And why are they doing that? Because it's prophecy. Because Yahweh Shai Shai has ordained it so. Okay, and Yahweh Shai Shai is the controller of all this. So he has the mark on the left hand side, which is the mark of the beast, that people are going to take and get destroyed. And you also got the mark, the Thawar, the mark of exemption for the elect on the right hand side. Okay, which is this knowledge, starting with the names of Yahweh Shai Shai, this knowledge. Okay, the faith in Yahweh Shai Shai, the understanding, the oil, the spirit. Okay, which leads to what? The mark of exemption, because you fear and abided in Yahweh Shai Shai. So, I ain't going to keep it too long, and I hope that was, on the point. It's good to go into the histories and research the plebs and the patricians and and how the power was moved around. And also, you know, I looked into the history of America and how the Democrats and the Republicans were formed, you know, and it's always good to do research into these things to get more understanding, because that's how we bring the scriptures to life. So a law that was edifying the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai Bashem Kakadash. With that, I'm going to say Shalom to the elect. Shalom.